Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are here with another reaction to Mercy for None. We're now into episode 5. So in the last episode, I think the biggest takeaway is that Junmo, I believe his name is gone. Gyejun tracked him down, and we saw that he got a little cocky. He thought that by taking basically all of the goons he had access to and throwing them at Gyejun, that it would be the end of it all. He was going to end the boogeyman stories that surrounded this man, but it did not work out the way that he predicted. He ended up losing all of his men. And then, of course, we see that Gyejun finished it because that's what Gyejun does. And just as he did that, we find out that Junmo's father found out the truth of the matter, which is that even though his son did send the teen hitmen after Gyejun's brother, they weren't the ones responsible for ultimately taking his brother's life. So now Gyejun has crossed this line, and it turns out he might have taken revenge on the wrong person. So the plot has gotten thicker, which is crazy. We only have a few episodes left, but I'm ready to jump in. So let's do that. Just before I do, though, if you'd like to know when I drop episodes, please hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right now. Oh, we're going back to that night. Okay, we're going to see maybe who he finally saw after he beat all these guys up. Okay, we got that already. Oh, we didn't even see who it was. Oh, wait. Someone young. Get the blade, bro. Break it. No. No. Oh, you're taking off your coat because this is personal now. Okay. This is why men die. Because why are we having a battle of pride at this point? Like, you've already been stabbed twice. Kudos to this fight choreo, though. Once again. Oh, he's got the blade again. Was that the son? He'll die. Well, enjoy it. Gyejun's coming for you, bro. But whoever came after and killed him is a coward, though. He waited till he was, like, tired and injured. So I don't even count that as a real win. But I guess in the end, it doesn't really matter, right? Whoever wins is whoever's still breathing. I don't think I know who the guy in the hood is. It wasn't the son of the other gangster, was it? Because he has short hair. Okay. Nugu? Why? Y'all in this fake hideout. How does no one even notice it's kind of strange that a bunch of cars just assemble here randomly at any given time? Actually, people probably do know and just figured, you know what? It's not my business because I don't want to die. Never mind. Me too. We too. Are we, though? Are we?
하나뿐인 자식놈 시체 앞에 두고 이 구봉산이 머릿속에 뭐가 들었을지.
Why I only had one child? Oh, yeah, that too. I'm just thinking, if you're in this business, you should probably have a few kids spread around.
한 반장이 남기석 사건 조작하고 돈을 받았어. 돈의 출처를 따라갔더니 자네 회사에서 만든 페이퍼 컴퍼니가 나왔고.
Oh.
기고 남기준 끌어들여 준모 처리하고 마지막으로 남기준까지 죽인 다음에.
Interesting.
그 기껏 생각해낸 게 아주 삼류 소설을 썼구나.
I mean, sounds pretty K-drama 101, but maybe it's your son that did the whole thing.
자네가 날 몰랐던 거지.
Oh. Plot twist.
둘 중 하나는 사라져야지 끝나.
Oh, come on, buddy. Why's it gotta be like this? Can't we just hug it out?
사용 인력 전원한테 연락 돌렸습니다. 집결지도 공지했고요.
Are we gonna have another battle royale like we almost had 11 years ago? Oh, prosecutor's office here.
폭행 및 살인 교사건에 대한 영장입니다. 자세한 건 가서 들으시고.
Oh, you're all arrested. Awkward.
검찰에서 갑자기 친 거라 저희가 대응할 수가 없었습니다.
Oh.
이 새끼가 처음부터.
He must have what?
일단 이동하시죠, 회장님.
Run away like a little girl. Oh, your driver. Oh, your driver don't look good. Maybe you should ask what happened to his face. Oh, y'all too slow. The first place you should have gone was the parking garage. Shame on you. Even I would have known he would have tried to flee.
아버지가 시키들?
Did he? Or maybe he did it himself.
살린답시고 일부러 그런 거야.
It's interesting to me that no one thinks that this kid's smart, which is weird. But maybe it's because he's not as arrogant as Junmo was.
이번 일로 너 옷 벗을 거야.
Do you think being fired is the worst of this kid's problems?
어디에 설 건지 증명하라고.
See the arrogance in his body language now?
무서울라 그런다, 야.
You should be scared. This guy who grew up with a murderer.
각오는 된 거야?
Mm-hmm.
각오는
He's been planning this for a while. Homie's like, I don't think there should be two territories. If I take out both the leaders, then there's no one left to run it except... That's what I'm thinking is what Ju-won is up to. Or Ju-won, not Ju-won, Ju-won's son, sorry.
설마 봉산을 친 게 나라는 겁니까?
나는 지금 봉산 얘기를 하는 게 아니야.
He's not the one, though. The guy who took him out was younger.
왜 그랬나?
I mean, unless he orchestrated it. But he didn't actually do the
회장님
killing.
말씀엔 큰 오류가 하나 있습니다.
Mm-hmm.
그런 일을 할 수 있는 사람은 저 말고도 한 명 더 있습니다. 검찰에.
Yeah, your son.
정말로 내 아들이 이 판에 끌어들일 거면 머리통을 부셔버릴 거야.
Okay, but he's not wrong. Mm-hmm.
사람은 나이를 먹을수록 자기가 믿고 싶은 대로만 믿는다고.
That's true for many, many older people.
살펴가십시오.
Yeah, he's like, you figure out that mess. Turns out your enemy isn't the only one with a problematic child.
추적 안 되게 번호판 바꿨으니까 편하게 쓰시면 됩니다.
Thank you. I guess that was a thank you.
중신 때문에 우리가 이렇게 고생한 거 아니야.
그러니까 개새끼.
Celebrating so early. Y'all really don't learn, huh?
근데 씨발 그게 우리랑 뭔 상관이야.
Apparently it has a lot to do with you. Aren't they your biggest employers? But okay. And considering you got your ass whooped like twice in the last 48 hours, I would say that it concerns you greatly.
나 떠났으면은 박치고 살 거지.
Keep talking. Something tells me he's going to walk through the door right now.
아, 똑같은 새끼.
Keep talking.
죽이려다가 그냥 봐줬더니.
Ah, it never fails. Happily. He's like, thank God I didn't say much.
누구야?
Mm-hmm.
뭐가 또?
Who really killed him?
나 죽인 사람.
Oh, who killed you? Oh, who killed me? That's funny. Quickly now.
부탁하는 거 아니야.
Exactly.
살 기회를 주는 거지.
Exactly. Third time he spared your life now.
뭐 그렇게 멋있게 살아보겠다니?
It's called loyalty. You should try it.
적당히 좀 비비면서 살지. 에이구.
The way you do.
나한테 할 얘기 있을 텐데.
Nothing at all.
시키는 대로 그냥
최근에 누구 만난 적 있지? 애비 자리에 앉혀주겠다고 약속이라도 한 거야?
Ooh.
아버지가 항상 그러셨잖아요. 죽은 애 제자리 같은 거 없다고.
That you were going to give it to Gisuk.
저는 그냥 제 자리에서 제 소임 다 하고 있고요.
You're so fake.
계신 한 달라지는 건 없지 않을까요, 혹시?
He just gave you a fat clue right there, Dad. Interesting little chess match there.
일단 피하시죠.
I don't think he's going to. Where else can he run?
나도 모르는 새 내 손은 더러워질 만큼 더러워졌어.
There we go.
얼른 보자.
To the end. Not surprised. And that's the thing. This is why I know I could not be in the world of crime, because there's no way I'm going to die for a mob boss. You must be crazy. I was going to say, I give him props considering there were knives involved. Oh, damn. Oh, see, was it worth it? Is it worth it? In this moment, are you thinking it was worth it to die like this? Okay. Homie's like, I got some adrenaline left. Come for me. But I guess he feels like he ain't got nothing left to live for anyway now that his one legacy is gone. Yeah, bleeding out's not fun, huh? Starting to realize that my man Gi-jun's a lot harder than you thought.
우리 같은 놈들 그치?
Oh, I'm glad you know.
이런 식이잖아.
You love a self-aware gangster.
이해하게.
You should understand, actually. So he knows it was his kid.
자네도 머지않아.
Exactly. You're literally next. Didn't even see that hole there. How dramatic.
그러게 착하게 사시지.
Like pieces on a chessboard. Who's left?
내가 아는 이주는 이런 스타일이 아닌데.
He's not the man you know anymore.
시키고 싶은 게 있는 거지. 구공산을 죽여서라도.
Period. My boy Gi-jun's not dumb. He don't talk a lot, but not because he ain't smart.
에?
That was cold-blooded. You ain't gotta do that. Something tells me you knew which hand he got cut off, too. Oh, hello. One thing about Gi-jun is he's gonna threaten you to your face.
그게 뭐 있는 모양이구나.
회장님이 저를 죽이라고 지시한 겁니까?
But my son did.
킨이 너라면 네가 떠나고 난 뒤에 이 판을 유지하고 조율한 사람.
Who are you trying to pin it on?
잘 부탁드리겠습니다.
그 오 회장이 경찰 쪽 인맥으로 끌어들인 놈이었어.
I mean, he's telling a half truth. This guy did help orchestrate a lot, but he's not the one who actually did it. He's not the one behind it.
오 회장이 죽은 후에도 이 김 선생은 이 세계를 떠나지 않았어.
And his world was what?
그 놈도 이득을 챙겼어.
Secret
오
office.
회장 시절보다도 훨씬 큰 이득을.
Really? Patting yourself on the back again, huh?
하지만 그 놈은 그걸로
Yeah, he's like, this is a full, huge safe. I only have like half a shelf.
나하고 봉산의 약점을
Gold
움켜쥐.
bars, okay. Homie said, I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler.
이 모든 것을 시작해. 기준이 네가 아니라 김 선생일지도 모른다는 생각.
죽이면 전 죽이라고 말하지 않았습니다. 단지 그분이 기석 씨 형님을 노리고 있다. 뭐 그런 얘기죠.
Just have that recording ready, huh?
기석이한테 회사를 맡기려고 했던 건 진심이었다.
I actually believe that part.
기준이 네가 주은을 맡아줬으면 한다.
What? See if Gi-jun is smart enough to recognize that.
네, 회장님.
It's so hard to tell with Gi-jun, but again, he is such a straight thinking person, which is why he would never be a good person to run an organization like this, is that he doesn't realize it's layered. Nothing is as straightforward as what he's hearing. You're gonna end it like that, but I guess someone rolling up. Oh no, wait, there's more.
드시죠.
I wonder if he knows those are teacups, not coffee cups.
홍 이사님 선택지에 없어서 그렇지. 사실 주원에는 적임자가 따로 있습니다. 오셨네.
Would that be the son? Always comes down to daddy issues.
각오는 되셨습니까?
He was born ready. Oh no, that smile is very upsetting. All right, well, we've got some pieces now in place. I did suspect a while ago that it was Ju-won's son, but, you know, we didn't see a lot of him after episode 1, but it makes sense. It does make sense in a way, especially hearing this episode where when Ju-won grabbed him and was like, did you do anything? Like, is this you? And he looks at his dad and he said, you always told me that there's no place for me in the organization. That right there, that is the reason for all of this. These deep-seated daddy issues. It also explains why Gi-suk was taken out. If I'm gonna take a stab in the dark, K-drama Formula 101, my guess is for whatever reason, okay, let's do it by perspectives. It's probably easier. I'm thinking that Ju-won looked at his only son, which is crazy that these two mob bosses only have one kid. Very unusual. Very unusual. Usually men who do that kind of work have multiple kids for the very reason of what if one of them ends up getting taken out or one of them doesn't turn out the way that I want. But digressing, Ju-won was probably thinking, this is my one kid. And he sent him to proper school, gave him all the opportunities that he probably didn't have. Because, I mean, we didn't get a ton of history on Ju-won and, oh gosh, who's the guy who just died? The Bongsun group leader. Like, we didn't get a lot of history as to what their lives were like before they started working for Mr. O. But I'm going to take a stab in the dark and assume that they weren't the most, or they didn't come from the most prosperous backgrounds or families. They probably had to fight and work for and earn everything that they had. And, I think in the one case you have the Bongsun group guy who spoiled his child and gave him no boundaries and no sense of purpose, which turned him into the mess that he was. And on the other side, you have Ju-won, who tried to give his son the life that he would have wanted to have, which is the upstanding, like, you get to go to school, private school, university, you got to become, get a job, one of the most prestigious jobs you can have in Korea. He thought he was doing his son a favor, is my guess. And then here's Gi-suk, right? And from what I'm getting, Gi-suk and Gi-jun didn't really have a family, right? I'm guessing they were probably orphans or didn't have any close family nearby. And they were taken under the wing of these, under Mr. O, really. But anyway, my guess is that Ju-won thought that Gi-suk was someone that if his life was ruined by crime, it was less valuable than his precious son, if that makes sense. And so that was probably Ju-won's thinking, is I'm protecting my son so he can have an upstanding life, one that's better than mine, one that won't be stained by my life or with what I've done to get here. And still, obviously the business will be here, and it doesn't hurt that, him being in the prosecutor's office could be a little bit of a shield for me if anything's about to come my way. That's the way I think that Ju-won was looking at it, because I do think Ju-won loves his son. But I think that, like I said, and then he looked at Gi-suk as not really like a substitute or a better son. He just thought, here's somebody that I can groom to take over this organization, somebody who in this world probably wouldn't have much of a future anyway because of his background. So here's a chance for him to be lucrative and successful, just not in a upstanding, stand in the light sort of way, right? I think that's the way that Ju-won looked at it. Like, these are my two sons, the one that's my real son that I'm prioritizing and giving the good life, and then Gi-suk, who I just trust and respect, but, not more than my own son, and I'm willing to sacrifice him for the cause if necessary. So that's, I think, the way that Ju-won was looking at it. But Ju-won's son, kids, when they're growing up and they see things, they don't have the full perspective or the ability to see things the way that adults see them. And I'm assuming that Ju-won was not very forthcoming about why he did what he did with these two boys. And my guess is that Ju-won's son grew up thinking that his dad preferred Gi-suk, right? Because if you think about it, Gi-suk basically apprenticing under his father to become the next successor of the business would make him and his father very close, right? Ju-won and Gi-suk were probably extraordinarily close. We saw in episode 1 and episode 2 that everyone said that it was very clear that Gi-suk meant a lot to Chairman Ju-won. So Jo-woon, sorry. So imagine that's what everyone thinks. Imagine how that looked to Ju-won's son. Ju-won's son probably looked at him as like, wow, my dad is grooming this man and teaching him, taking him under his wing. And he probably saw them being very close and, of course, bonding over this business that was Ju-won Group. Meanwhile, his son is off in private school. His son is away because we see that, like they said, Ju-won did his best to keep his son away from the business. So as a kid who didn't understand what his father was trying to do, he probably took that and turned into resentment because he probably thought it was, my dad doesn't think I'm good enough for this. My dad doesn't love me enough to want to bring me into something that he thinks is very important. And instead, he's brought in this imposter, this false son to take my place, which should be that. He's taking my place. He's taking over what should be my life with my dad. So that resentment probably grew within him. And even though his dad clearly was proud of him, I think he probably didn't think that his dad's praise or looks at what he did with his life, I don't think he believed that his dad was really proud of him compared to probably the way that he talked about and treated Gi-suk. So this is just, again, this is pure speculation, but I just feel like this is where this is all coming from. So that resentment probably grew in Ju-won's son's heart over all the years. And then a few years back, when he saw everything that was going on, he saw like the formulation of the plan started in his head of like, I don't want Gi-suk to take what is mine. So what do I do to get rid of him, right? And my guess is he's not as good a fighter. I don't think he was ever as good a fighter as Gi-suk was, but that's probably why he did what he did, which we saw in this episode. He waited till Gi-suk was tired from fighting all those kids and injured to pick a fight with him, right? Because the thing is, I think that if Gi-suk had not just gone through that battle royale with the kids, he probably would have put this kid on his ass. But, and also, I don't think, well, actually, no, he didn't see his face until the last minute. So yeah, I think that if Gi-suk had been in top form, he probably wouldn't have lost that fight. But homie waited, right? He really was hoping that he was going to get killed, or if he didn't get killed, he was there to finish the job. So anyway, that was kind of but I think the whole plan though, like he didn't come up with this whole plan. That's the part that Ju-won was telling the truth to Gi-jun about, as far as saying that, yes, Mr. Cha, he's behind this whole thing. He's the one who set up the mastermind plan of, this whole ball in motion of drawing you in, this masterful plan to get rid of Gi-suk, get you to come in, take care of Ju-won, or sorry, get rid of Bong-sun, and then basically come in and wipe us out when it's all said and done, right? That's basically what the whole plan was, or that they were gonna leave you, or have Ju-won be the last man standing, right? Because of course, you remember, Ju-won doesn't realize that his son has plans to get rid of him as well. Another really pointed part of that conversation that him and his dad had earlier too, after he said the thing about there was no place for me in your organization, and then he said, we all know nothing's gonna change around here as long as you're here, right? So two big things he dropped in that conversation that if his dad was really paying attention, he would have figured out there was some subcontext there. But coming back, yeah, he basically said, Cha was the one who orchestrated this whole thing. This is where I think Ju-won's son didn't have the skill or the mind to mastermind that whole situation. Plus, I don't think he understood the organization to the level that Cha did to be able to do that. However, as we saw in this episode, this is how they formulated this plan, because I think what Cha was looking for when it was all said and done is that he was kind of sick of being the lapdog of these two gang leaders. And he's like, I want someone in power, one person, the way it was under Mr. O, only one person to answer to, only one person to deal with, one group to deal with, instead of having these two war with each other and have me in the middle. So that was his incentive, I believe, behind taking care of these two old men. But also, I get the sense that Cha feels like he can puppeteer Ju-won's son, right? Which I think to this point he kind of has been. So what better way for Cha, right? What a good outcome for Cha if he gets rid of these two men who he can't control directly and then puts in place a man that he can control, but not actually be the one getting his hands dirty, right? So that's what I'm kind of thinking I'm getting from Cha is like the reason why Cha's involved and why he organized this whole thing. But yeah, so all of that, we kind of now see that it's, like I said, it always comes down to mommy or daddy issues. Three things for pretty much every villain, especially in K-dramas. It's either a mommy issue, a daddy issue, or an abandonment issue. Most villains actually across the board. You can probably reduce it down to those three things, but I digress. So anyway, now at least we know where this is all coming from. It's Cha and it is Ju-won's son. But Ju-won, I think, as I said, that conversation that he had with his son in the beginning was really, I think it was well done because it was they were saying things with their words, but there was a whole sub conversation going on there. And the main thing is that Ju-won is aware of the fact, thanks to the final words of the Bungsang group, man, like, no, was it him? Yeah, it was. When he handed him the deed saying that the money was being siphoned out of Ju-won's corporations to pay Cha, which is not something he knew about. So all that to say that Ju-won figured out that the only person who would have had the knowledge and the access to his accounts like that was his son. And his son, if he was bankrolling this, that means he knows about it. So that's the one piece that Ju-won's son is not aware of at this point, which is why he thinks he's still snowing his dad. And that's why his dad came in there. I do think, you saw the whole thing with the music too, with the ear tap or with the wiretap. I'm pretty sure his dad knows the wiretap is there, but he just covered his tracks and made it sound like he was listening to music. So I don't know whether or not Ju-won's son figured out that his dad probably does know about the wiretap, but either way, they both were lying to each other in that conversation. And that's why Ju-won figured out that, okay, my son's a part of this. And he helped orchestrate this, or at least he bankrolled this whole thing. Now, I think Ju-won is smart enough to know that his son wouldn't do this unless he was planning on usurping him. But I'm thinking that Ju-won is thinking that his own son would never do it. I think in his mind, he's like, okay, he wants some power. I'll talk to him about it, but he wouldn't actually do anything to me, right? In his mind, he doesn't think his son would do that. And that's why he looked surprised when the leader of Bungsang group was dying and he said, don't get too comfortable. You're going to be seeing, your time is coming very soon. He looked surprised. So again, I don't know if he's now starting to consider that it could be that, that his son might actually step back and let him be taken out. But I'm assuming at this point, he doesn't think that his son is capable of that. And that's why with that conversation that he ended up having with Gi-jun, he put all the blame on Cha. Of course, completely taking out his son from the equation because he knows now, especially now after what happened to Junmo, that Gi-jun will take out his kid. He won't care. So he's pointed the weapon of these gangs in another direction here. And again, I'm not mad because Cha does need to go. This is all Cha's master idea anyway. But as I was saying in the episode, it's a bit frustrating that Gi-jun doesn't just, and maybe it's because he's not capable of it. And again, I don't mean it in the sense of like he's not smart, but maybe he's not capable of understanding the manipulative way that these people think, right? When you're in the level of running a crime organization, you can't be one-track minded. You can't be simplistic. You can't even be impatient. It's something that's intricate and requires a lot of layers and a lot of string pulling. And that's why I just kind of wish that like Gi-jun thought more like that, or Gi-jun. I keep saying Gi-jun because, oh my gosh. Oh, Squid Game. Anyway, I think it's one of those things where I think Gi-jun just doesn't realize that, like, you really think after everything that happened that it's just that simple that Cha would be the one doing all this? Like, really? A retired cop wants to be the leader of a crime syndicate, right? Between that and the fact that Ju-won was so quick to be like, oh, there's no one now that your brother's gone, there's no one else, you should come and run the group. What? Like, respectfully, I've seen nothing of Gi-jun that indicates he would be the person to run a crime syndicate. You feel me? Like, he is good at fighting. He's good at fighting. That's pretty much it. And kind of putting together the pieces of where he might need to go to figure out like people's motivations. That's about it. The kind of level of intricacy that is needed, the strategic mind, that is not Gi-jun's strength. And that's okay. That would have been Gi-suk, if anyone, right? And that's why I was saying it just bothers me. It's just sad. That's one of, Gi-jun's biggest character flaws is that he doesn't have that mind. And I just wish maybe even if he can't think that way, that he would realize that's a gap in his skill set and find someone who does think that way, AKA the guy who is Gi-suk's best friend and driver. Like, he keeps trying to shut him out. And I know why Gi-jun's doing it, because he doesn't want him to get involved and possibly die. But I think he has the mind to be able to tell Gijin, like, wait, don't you think it's kind of weird that Juwon's offering you, like he's offering you the king's keys to his kingdom? Offering you the keys to his kingdom when his kingdom just got significantly bigger because Bongsan Group no longer exists? You don't think it's a little weird, bro? When he was just like letting you die a minute ago? Like, anyway, so I'm hoping that Gijin is a little, but mind you, oh no, you know what? Let me take it back because I forgot that Gijin went to talk to the cleaner, and he told the cleaner to go find out who came after him and the real why. So he does have the cleaner working somewhat on the case, and we know the cleaner is able to get info. But anyways, we'll see. We'll see whether or not Gijin is just going to go blindly with what's being told, or if he still has that blind trust in Jiwoon. I don't think he does, but we'll have to see. So anyway, like I said, I'm not mad though, because Cha does need to go, but I feel like Cha's definitely gonna sing. So I don't know why Jiwon would risk that, because he has to know that if it comes down, actually maybe he doesn't. Let me take that back. Maybe Cha won't sing. He may not talk. He looks like he's kind of crazy. So he may actually just let Gijin beat the hell out of him and not say anything. That is possible, but who knows? We'll have to see. So yeah, that's kind of what's happening there. Like I said, leader of Bongsan Group is gone. You know, him and his son and him died within like 48 hours of each other. Sucks to suck, I guess. But, you know, considering they weren't, neither of them was very good people, I can't say that I'm sad about it. So now it's just going to come down to these last few members that are on the chessboard. We've got Jiwoon, who, like I said, he wasn't actually part of this whole situation. But the fact that he's now trying to cover for his son, that is where it's going to get complicated, because we already know that Gijin don't give a damn about that, right? Gijin would spare Jiwoon, but he'd be like, since it literally was your son who's responsible for this, you know, I gotta kill him, right? You know, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. Even if I didn't want to, I took out Junmo because I thought he did it. So on principle, I got to. So yeah, we'll have to see. So yeah, we got Mr. Cha still on the board. We got Jiwoon who's still on there. And now, of course, we have Jiwoon's son, who is trying to basically pull off the most masterful coup ever, even though he really didn't do it. He just bankrolled it, if we're being real. So yeah, that's some interesting revelations and a few more pieces of the puzzle that are put together here. And we'll have to see what's left, like how much I'm just really curious to see how much more Gijin can really do. Because this is his second time visiting a doctor now in probably as many days. He's been beaten up a lot. He's been stabbed. He's probably mildly concussed from that car accident, nearly drowned. And he allowed himself like a few hours to rest and he's back at it. So, you know, he's not superhuman. He's not superhuman. He's older. He almost died actually from that fight with the boxer. He hasn't even healed from that. So I don't know. I'm just wondering how much more Gijin's got in him. But my prediction at this point is that I'm getting the sense that Gijin is not meant to survive this series. As much as I don't want it to be that way, this is Gijin's last hurrah. Now, he's not looking to survive this. He doesn't want to survive this. He wants to avenge his brother, and when it's all said and done, just join him, you know? So we'll see. I feel like his final battle is going to end up being between himself and Jiwoon's son, and we'll see. We'll actually see whether or not he did have the skills to take out Gisuk for real, or not. Because like I said, I don't count that fight from episode 1 because my man was a little bit injured. So yeah, lots of things unfolded in this episode, but as I said, it all comes down in the end to, I think, in my opinion, the rejected or the cast aside son trying to get his revenge, except that he's getting it out in all the wrong ways. And it's probably going to cost him everything, right? And I'm just kind of wondering who's going to be there to pick up that's another potential alternate ending. I don't think it's going to be the case, but the other alternate ending, if Gijin doesn't end up dying, is that he ends up actually, despite the fact that we find out now that he refused, because I guess it sounds like Jiwoon actually offered him the keys to the kingdom or to be the successor years ago, and Gijin said, nah, not for me. So what if that little piece of that offering is like a little Easter egg to say that when this is all said and done, Gijin's going to end up with both gangs being under him? That'd be kind of crazy, but I don't think he wants that. I genuinely don't think that's the life he wants. So I don't know. If he does survive, that's a possibility. If not, I can see it potentially going to Gisuk's driver friend, maybe. He might end up being the one to run everything. Who knows? But yeah, this is another good episode. We didn't get a ton of fighting outside of that first few minutes there, but a lot more of the plot unfolded for us, so that was really good. So I enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed watching along. If you did, please show some love, and I'll see you in the next one.